Hi, I'm Gary Knox. I'm a professor of environmental horticulture with the University of Florida, and today we're here at Gardens of the Big Bend on the grounds of the University of Florida IFAS North Florida Research and Education Center in Quincy. And Gardens of the Big Bend is a new botanical and teaching garden that the NFREC is developing in collaboration with a volunteer friends group called Gardening Friends of the Big Bend. So I'm here to give you a little tour of Gardens of the Big Bend today, along with Kelly Thomas.
Hi, I'm Kelly Thomas. I'm a biological scientist here working with Dr. Gary Knox in environmental horticulture.
So I wanted to start here at the sign so you can get some sense of the size of the gardens and the fact that we have about 11 different gardens. We're called Gardens, plural, of the Big Bend because we have 11 different gardens, each with a theme or certain plant that we're focusing on. So we'll just walk through a couple of the gardens today to give you a feel of what we have here. I'll point over here to my left. You can see our dry garden, which some people might call a desert garden, but we call it a dry garden, and it consists of all sorts of different plants that are adapted to dry conditions. It includes many Florida natives. It includes agaves and some prickly pear cactus. It has herbs in it. We have bulbs in it. We have perennials in it. And most notably, we also have Florida dune plants planted here as well. If you see the yellow flowers in the distance, that's a golden aster coming into bloom, a wonderful Florida dune plant. So at this point, let's walk on through, and we'll tell you a little bit about the garden as we walk and point out some things of interest. So I like to say, Gardens of the Big Bend has probably four main purposes or goals, a mission. One is a living laboratory where we can plant out new plants, whether they're new species or new varieties of an existing plant, so that we can evaluate how well they do in our climate. A second is that we're a living classroom, so that master gardener groups, youth groups, general public can come out here and learn about the plants in the gardens because they're all labeled with common names, scientific names, and so on. A third important mission of us is to act for plant conservation. In many ways, a botanical garden is like an ark that helps preserve plants for the future generations. So we're very proud that we are helping to preserve a number of rare plants from Florida as well as from other parts of the world. And finally, our fourth mission is really to hopefully inspire people who visit here so that they learn more about gardening and want to get out there and try more plants in their landscapes or apartments, wherever they happen to live. So we're walking into what we call the Discovery Garden, which is a garden that features new, improved, or underutilized plants. And as you can see, the perennial border here is actually quite colorful this time of year, with a number of different plants that are really in full bloom right now. Although I will say it's really amazing. You can come out here any time of year and find something flowering or something interesting to look at. So we'll just walk along here and point out some of the interesting plants. This happens to be gold quell Rudbeckia in flower right now. It's probably the best it's done for us, as I can recall.
Yeah, the first time it's bloomed, I think.
Mm-hmm. Really striking. And the Mexican heather there looks really, really beautiful, really vigorous, full.
And we have coral porterweed on the hot pink.
Porterweed is a real attractor for butterflies and other pollinators.
And we have a couple different basils as well, which are great for the bees. It's blueberry basil right here. An African blue basil here. And then our third basil we just have is a mazel basil, the new cultivar.
This time of year, you'll see a number of salvias in bloom in the garden. And so we'll just try to point a few of these out. That one is called Limelight, which has fantastic purple flowers and those lime green or chartreuse yellow sepals that really contrast nicely with it.
We have a few more salvias in bloom. We purposely planted them all in one area so you could see a bunch of different types all together.
They really make a colorful display, and particularly during the morning, they're really loaded down with butterflies and other pollinators. They were also trying to strategically place benches throughout the garden to invite people to come in and have a seat and enjoy the beautiful vistas while they're here. Maybe eat their lunch or cup of coffee in the morning, something like that. But it's kind of fun. Try and make this a real experience for people to come and enjoy. This is one of the new plants that we first introduced here a number of years ago, and it has really caught on. This is Mahonia called Soft Caress, and the old-fashioned Mahonia was actually very thorny and prickly, and was rather coarse looking. And as you can see, this has lovely fine textured foliage, and true to its name, it's not prickly at all. It's soft to the touch, has a wonderful fine texture in the landscape. A great plant for shade, as what we have in this particular situation here in the garden. We're going to wrap around the corner here to an area that's called our Pavilion Shade garden, and end up showing you some of the flowers that are in bloom, some of the plants that are in full bloom here, and others that are yet to come. You see, this is Chinese rain bells that is just now coming into bloom, and it is delightful having these pink-purple, tubular flowers on these really airy panicles. You can only imagine what it'll look like in a week or 2 weeks, something like that. And the flowers last a fair long time too. It's a really lovely big plant of this.
And as you can see, it does pretty well in the shade and doesn't need a lot of sun either, so that's an advantage. Especially, so a lot of the plants around our teaching platform are hydrangeas, but those generally have stopped flowering by now. So like Peroxa, we generally have something in bloom all times of the year.
And what we do have are some azaleas, a type of azalea called Encore azalea, that are in bloom. And then behind that, you can see the camellias are starting to come to bloom. Just a little early for most of them, but you can see 2 or 3 of them are showing some really nice color. And really that whole array over there across the open teaching area is full of camellias. Well, I think we'll stop here, but I hope we've given you a little taste of what Gardens of the Big Bend is like. We're open 365 days a week, dawn to dusk. We invite you to come by and visit us and stay a while. Happy gardening.